That's not my problem anymore, he said. I've done enough for you people. He hung up on me. I knelt beside my mother's hospital bed and held her hand. She was so thin, so weak. She looked like a ghost of the beautiful woman she used to be. I'm sorry, she whispered to me and James. I'm sorry for everything. I know you hate me. I know I ruined your lives. Don't say that, Mama, James said, crying. We love you. But I couldn't say those words. Even as she was dying, I was still angry, still hurt, still wondering why she had made the choices that led us here. My mother died 2 days later. We couldn't afford the medicine. We could only watch as her life slipped away. The last thing she said was, "Please forgive me." I never got to answer her. When my mother died, I called Mr. Davidson to tell him. Joy is dead, I said simply. There was silence on the phone. Then he said, I'll send someone to help with the arrangements. He didn't come himself. He sent his driver with 5,000 naira and instructions for a simple burial. 5,000 naira. That's what 22 years of being his wife was worth to him. Mrs. Sarah helped us plan the funeral. Only a few neighbours came. No one from Mr. Davidson's family, no relatives from my mother's village, because she had been too ashamed to keep in touch with them. We buried our mother in a cheap coffin in a public cemetery. James and I stood by her grave, two orphans who had been orphans all their lives. Mr. Davidson finally came to the cemetery. He stood far away from us, wearing an expensive black suit. He stayed for 5 minutes, then left without saying a word to us. That was the last time we saw him. After the funeral, James and I went back to our tiny apartment. Everything reminded us of our mother. Her perfume bottle on the dresser, her favourite chair by the window, her photos with Mr. Davidson from when she was young and still believed in love. What are we going to do now? James asked me. I looked at my 16-year-old brother. He was tall like Mr. Davidson, but he had our mother's gentle eyes. Eyes that had seen too much pain for someone so young. We're going to survive, I told him. We're going to be better than they were. The landlord came the next week asking for rent money. We had nothing to give him. I'm sorry, he said, but I need to rent this place to someone who can pay. We packed our few belongings and moved in with Mrs. Sarah temporarily. She was kind, but she was poor too. We couldn't stay long. I took a second job cleaning offices at night. James got a part-time job at a gas station after school. We saved every penny to rent a smaller place. We never heard from Mr. Davidson again. Not a phone call, not a text message, not even a birthday card for James. It was like we had never existed to him. Living with Mrs. Sarah taught me something important. She was a widow who had raised 5 children alone. She had never been rich, but her children loved her. They visited her every week. They took care of her. How did you do it? I asked her one day. How did you raise good children without money? With love, she said simply. Love doesn't cost money. Love costs sacrifice. Your mother loved you, Grace. She made mistakes, but she loved you. If she loved us, why did she choose him over us? I asked. Mrs. Sarah was quiet for a long time. Then she said, Your mother was young and foolish. She thought love meant being chosen by a rich man. She didn't understand that real love means being chosen first, not last. I thought about that for days. My mother had been young when she met Mr. Davidson, 25 years old, working as a cleaner, dreaming of a better life. Maybe she really thought he would save her. Maybe she really believed he would love her eventually. Maybe she was just a foolish girl who made terrible choices and spent the rest of her life paying for them. James and I found a small room to rent. It was tiny, but it was ours. We bought a used mattress and cooked on a small gas burner. We were poor, but we were free. One night James asked me something that changed everything. Grace, Do you think Mama knew we hated her? I thought about my mother's last words. Please forgive me. She had known. She had carried our anger with her pain every single day. Yes, I told him. She knew. Do you think she died sad because of us? I started crying because the answer was yes. My mother had died knowing her children hated her. She had died alone, abandoned by the man she loved, and rejected by the children she had sacrificed everything for. She made mistakes, James, I said through my tears, but she was still our mother. She was still human. That night I finally cried for my mother, not just because she was dead, but because she had lived such a sad, lonely life, because she had been young and stupid and had paid such a terrible price for her stupidity, because she had loved a man who never loved her back, and that unrequited love had destroyed all of us. I found a letter in my mother's things. It was addressed to me and James, but she had never given it to us. My dear children, it said, I know you hate me. I know you blame me for ruining your lives. You are right to be angry. I made terrible choices, and you paid the price. I was young and foolish when I met your father. I thought love meant being chosen by someone important. I thought having his children would make him love me. I was wrong about everything, but I was not wrong about loving you. You were the best things that ever happened to me. Even if your father never wanted you, I wanted you. I chose to keep you. I chose to love you. I know that's not enough. I know love doesn't pay rent or buy food or cure sickness, but it's all I had to give you. Please don't let my mistakes ruin your lives the way they ruined mine. Choose better than I did. Love better than I did. Be stronger than I was. And someday, when the anger fades, please remember that I loved you. Even when you hated me, I loved you. Your mother, Joy. James and I cried together when we read that letter. We cried for our mother. We cried for ourselves. We cried for all the words we never said and all the forgiveness we never gave. A year after our mother's death, James and I were doing better. I had gotten a better job at a bank. James was finishing his final year of high school with excellent grades. We lived simply, but we lived honestly. We had learned to take care of each other without depending on anyone else. One day James came home with news. I saw Mr. Davidson today, he said. He was at the bank where you work. My heart stopped. Did he see you? Yes, he looked right at me. Then he turned around and walked away. I felt that old anger rising up in me. Even now, even after everything, he couldn't acknowledge his own children. It doesn't matter, I told James. We don't need him. We never did. But that night I made a decision. I wrote a letter to Mr. Davidson, not begging for money or love, just telling him what I thought of him. You are a coward, I wrote. You had 2 children who needed a father, and you chose to pretend we didn't exist. You had a woman who loved you, and you let her die in poverty. You are rich in money, but poor in everything that matters. I pity you. I never sent the letter, but writing it made me feel free. Today, James is 18 years old. He got a scholarship to study engineering at the university. He is smart and kind and nothing like the father who abandoned him. I am 24 now. I have my own apartment, a good job, and plans for the future. I am saving money to start my own business. Sometimes people ask me about my family. I tell them the truth now. My father was a rich man who was too selfish to love his children. My mother was a young woman who made bad choices. They are both gone from my life now. I don't hate my mother anymore. I understand her now. She was flawed and human and foolish. She caused us pain, but she also gave us life. And life, even a difficult life, is still a gift. James and I visit our mother's grave every few months. We bring flowers and tell her about our lives, about his school, about my job, about our dreams. We forgive you, Mama, I told her last time. We understand now. You were just trying to love someone who couldn't love you back. We know how that feels. Because we do know. We spent our whole childhood trying to love a father who couldn't love us back. But we learned something our mother never learned. We learned that we don't need other people to love us for us to be worthy of love. We learned to love ourselves. And that made all the difference. 5 years have passed since our mother died. James is now a successful engineer. I own a small business that helps other single mothers find work and housing. We help women who are in situations like our mother was, women who are dependent on men who don't respect them, women who need to learn they can be strong on their own. Why do you help them? Someone asked me once. After what your mother put you through. Because my mother's story doesn't have to be their story, I answered. Because children shouldn't have to pay for their parents' mistakes. Mr. Davidson is still alive, still rich, still married to his first wife. His other children are grown now, successful in their own right. Sometimes I wonder if he ever thinks about us, if he ever regrets abandoning us, if he ever wonders what kind of man James became, or what kind of woman I became. But it doesn't matter anymore. His opinion of us stopped mattering the day we realized we could be proud of ourselves without his approval. Our mother made terrible choices. She chose a man who was already taken. She chose the easy path over the right path. She chose to believe lies instead of facing truth. But she also chose to keep us. She chose to love us the best way she knew how. She chose to sacrifice her own dignity to try to give us a father, even if he was a poor excuse for one. She was human, flawed and foolish and human, and so are we all. James and I have different last names now. We chose our own names when we turned 18. We are no longer the Davidson children. We are Grace and James Okafor, after our maternal grandfather, whom our mother was too ashamed to contact. We found our own identity, our own worth, our own family. We learn that sometimes the greatest gift you can give yourself is forgiveness, not for the other person's sake, but for your own. Most importantly, we forgave ourselves for all the years we spent hating someone who was already suffering enough. Hate is a heavy burden to carry. Love is lighter. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to our channel.